Hi, Roo here from Tonic magazine. I'm here with Paul Wakelin from AFS, and he's going to tell us about the hot new product, aptly named the Fire, which is their new wingboard, right?
It is, exactly. 100% wingboard, carbon construction, aggressively scooped out deck.
I was going to say, it's a really big scoop in the deck. That's what, a good couple of 3 inches maybe?
Exactly, it just brings your feet to the top of the mast.
Yeah.
So you have that more direct feel.
And then underneath there's a cut-in for the mast as well, right?
Exactly. And so there's a lot of thought gone into all the detail, and these release channels at the back here, coupled with the wide tail, just make sure it gets up and going in the earliest of breezes. And then the rounded rails, you can't catch a rail. And then effectively, if you're landing from a jump, the domey nose shape just helps with the pop.
Scoops you back
and
up.
Literally, so your touchdowns, super forgiving. 3 sizes, 100, 90 and 80 litre.
Okay, so on the larger end of the size?
Yeah, and I think that suits the UK market perfectly.
Yeah.
And I think we're moving away from those sinky boards, and it's that all-round have fun versatility.
Yeah. Well, there's nothing worse than being on a sinker and the wind drops.
Exactly. So that's super on point at the moment. But yeah, where do we start? I mean, we've got all the toys are out. We've got our fly range, which are great mid-range boards. This is super new. I'm being quite precious with it at the moment.
Not quite getting it all the way out.
No, it's our lightweight wing, light wind wing.
Wow.
With the hard handles.
So this material here, like a lot of brands have tried, like the windsurfing sail material, right, which is quite heavy and stiff.
Exactly.
Whereas this feels like almost tissue paper.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I mean, you can see it's got the weave in it, so it should be pretty tough and strong, but it doesn't feel anything like that material that we've had in the past, which was traditionally very strong but very heavy. Exactly.
And so basically, and you can't crease it. But because of the lightweight nature of it,
got to be a little bit careful.
Yeah,
with it.
so hence I'm not just leaving it
out flapping around.
Flapped out in the ring.
No one wants to leave it out flapping around, Paul.
Exactly. So and just
talking about what's been left out
that's
flapping
terrible.
around.
Let's cut.
Cut. There's a leak in the tent. Yeah, we're on.
So foils for 2024, we've got the Evo range, which forms the backbone of our foil range, which is modular. 4 sizes, 950, 1250, 1450 and 1650. Just a great versatile all-round foil. That's the 950 there. You can see it's a medium aspect shape. Pretty advanced, but just does everything very, very capably. Yeah.
And is this interchangeable across your whole range? Like all of your foils work with every fuselage?
Yes.
And you can, so if you've got this, you can interchange it with the other bits and pieces as well?
Exactly. So effectively, when we look at our mast connection now, that's the fuse link mast connection.
Yeah.
That market leading bolts onto that, but that'll be that way around.
Yeah,
and then that bolts onto there.
Nice.
And then as we go a little bit more specialist, we then go to our monoblock construction. So for example, that's the 950 Evo modular, and that's the 900 pure. So similar sort of sizing, but you can see this is a little bit more aggressive design.
Yeah. And that monoblock makes it a lot stiffer, doesn't it? And
Exactly.
much more responsive.
Yeah.
And less bolts to do up at the beach.
And that's it. Very, very resilient as well. So you can feel the actual weight. There's some material in there. So that can land the highest jumps.
Yeah.
It can carve super hard, and it's ridiculously quick.
It's always the connection that's the weak point for snapping foils, isn't it?
Exactly.
So by having, a completely monoblock solid construction, that's going to be incredibly strong.
That's it. And so again, that's all interchangeable on our fuse link system now. And then, like I say, once you're in the realms of the monoblocks, we've got the medium aspect, pure 7 and 900. They're the foils which all the guys are using on GWA.
Yeah.
Then you've got your high aspect 1100 and 800, and they're high end glide orientated foils. And then you'll see that we've got our silks, which are really making a name for themselves.
Bit more of a wave style wing, aren't they? Carving,
exactly.
things like that.
Super carvy, and then in comparison, feel the weight of that. Woo! In comparison to the pure.
Yeah, that is unbelievable. You can't weigh this on camera, but trust me, that doesn't weigh anything.
So you wouldn't jump that,
right?
But it's built to be as best as it can be as a carving weapon.
Yeah.
And then again, it's had crossover even being used for dynamic downwinding.
Yeah. And there's quite a lot going on here. You've got the flip up tips,
exactly,
and then you've also got the ridges on the front. What advantages do they bring?
So basically, everything is retaining flow over the foil. So the upturned tips decreases the chances of ventilation.
Okay.
So basically, you can go full tip out, and you won't be sucking air down the foil. And then the tubercles create tiny little vortices on the top of on the outside edge of the foil, which actually sucks the flow to the foil. So in turbulent water and in those really hard dynamic carves, you're going to get the best grip. Nice.
Well, they're really good.
There we are.
Probably a helicopter ruining the audio. Chinook.
What I'll do, I'll put that down, and then that brings us over to the boards. Again, quite a moderately width downwind paddle orientated Blackbird there, 8.0 by 22.
Yeah.
So that would give the big guy a fighting chance to actually be able to get up and stand up to give the paddle in the lumpier conditions. That's high end, and then this is the Whitebird, similar sort of dimensions, but just a slightly flatter underside and in the epoxy glass construction.
Yep.
So it's a slightly kinder price point and a slightly kinder forgiving feel to it. Nice. So those two are very somewhat similar products. And then we go down in sizes to what we're now looking at, crossover boards.
Yeah, and there'll be crossover for more like light wind winging, exactly, a bit of downwinding if you've got the skills for it. So, and are you seeing quite a lot of sales on the downwind side of things? Is that good for you guys?
It's still very niche, but we are seeing steady growth.
Okay.
And I have to say we find ourselves at the cutting edge of that. But for sure, it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
I think there still needs to be that reality of just how hard it is. But the difference is, if you have the right kit to do the job, it does make it easier.
Yeah, but do you think this crossover thing's quite new, isn't it? Where you've got like a smaller downwind style board, but for light wind winging, they're amazing, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I would say there's only a couple of boards which are actually suitable for that 50% paddle, 50% wing. Whereas there's a number of boards now which are going particularly light wind wing, or again the paddle friendly longer shapes.
Yeah.
So effectively, if you were to use a wing on the longer board, just because it is bigger and it's more voluminous, it might not get going that much quicker than
the slightly more wing specific design.
Exactly. So it's important to have a chat to dial in board choice.
Yeah, make sure you get the right thing. I think there's a lot of people jumped on with the longer boards for winging earlier on, and now they seem to be trying to sell them on and go in for these more mid-length, compact shapes, which are a bit more wing specific. Because unless you're downwinding, you don't really need that length.
And that's it. Because the assumption was, is the long and thin, I'm going to get going light in the lighter breeze, which it does help, but a narrow, smaller board will also do the same but better if you're wing specific. Whereas these boards, they're great. They're more paddle friendly, whereas the shorter versions bring in the use in wing foil.
Nice. Great. And all this kit's available to demo today, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Anyone wants to come down, come and chat to Paul. He's the man. He knows absolutely everything about all the AFS gear.
We try.
So come and tap him up. Thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you very much.
Cheers.